Well, it's a real treat to be here with Lance Phelps, an absolute legend of Paraparaumu Beach Golf Club. He's a 10-time club champion, and I understand a 12-time club champion over the hill at Martinborough Golf Club. It'd be fair to say there's probably more stories and more folklore floating around Paraparaumu Beach about Lance Phelps than any other member I've certainly come across. So you absolutely are a true legend of the links, Lance, and it's wonderful that you can join us here this afternoon.
Oh, thank you very much, Leo. Good to hear your voice, and it's a great golf club.
Yeah, well, I guess the idea of these interviews is just to reconnect with some of the great identities that have their history etched into our history, and I guess it only takes a quick glance at that honours board as you walk into the golf club to see the name L. Phelps listed 10 times there right before you even enter through the doors. So it's a wonderful legacy that you've left for us there on the honours board. But look, you left the club in the early 2000s to head over the hill, as I said, to Martinborough. So for those new members or those members that have more recently joined us, let's take the story back, I guess, and let's go right back to the start, Lance, and talk us through those early days there in Paraparaumu Beach. I assume you were born and bred locally?
Yeah, born and bred. Yeah, played a lot of tennis. Played all my rugby at Parapram and then injured myself quite badly. And then so I moved into tennis, and then tennis wasn't working for me because then I injured myself there, and I thought, I'll try golf. We lived on the back of the golf course, and yeah, I snuck over that fence every day and played the 7th, the 5th and the 6th round and round and round. Learnt those holes up, 3 of my favourite holes. One's a par 3, one's a par 4, one's a par 5, and you get to learn to play every hole sort of thing.
So I assume sport was quite an important part of the community back then growing up?
Yeah, love sport. It was in our family, I think. All of us played, all good sportsmen.
So you've got 3 older brothers?
Yeah, I got 1 older brother and 2 younger brothers. Gary, he's a great rugby player. Wayne was a great rugby player.
So I understand with the sporting that rugby was perhaps your the first sport you became really good at. Did you represented Wellington? Is that correct? Or
no, Horfenor, sorry, but my biggest game was we were curtain raiser for the All Blacks at for Manawatu. It was unbelievable.
And so you mentioned you got into tennis, and you quite enjoyed your tennis.
Yeah, I played in 2 New Zealand Opens, a couple of Wellington Opens, all the big ones. I thought I was so good at tennis, and then I went to Auckland to my first New Zealand Open, and I played an American left-hander, Tim Wilkinson, who won the New Zealand Open that year. I had to play him first, bottom seed, top seed. And I'm not going to say the score, 6-1, 6-1. And it was just amazing. He had the head racket, and I had the old wooden one. We didn't. I had a royal crown, and we were a few years behind them. And God, I just thought I was so good, but nah. Because the amateurs are allowed to play quite easily with the pros and the tennis.
Right.
Yeah, I played with Chris Lewis and all that. Yeah, Onnie. Yeah. I had 2 great years of tennis, but nah. Then that rugby injury, and then that was the end. I couldn't lift my shoulder, my arm above my shoulder to do my serve. So with golf, it didn't seem to matter. Yeah, and then I played a bit of table tennis, won all the A-grade championships for a couple of years. And then started. Mum said, "Can't go over there every night." I said, "Yes, I can. I own that course." I was only about 20 at the stage.
So you took up golf relatively late then?
Yeah, a bit late, yeah, 20, yeah.
And did you have any lessons at all, or how did you
Nah,
how
no
did you learn how to
lessons,
swing
I
it?
don't know. I just, a little bit of a natural, I think, I'm not sure, but yeah, later I got lessons.
Do you remember what your first handicap was?
5,
That was your first handicap.
yeah.
And how long had you been playing when you got that handicap?
A couple of years,
Okay.
because I didn't join the club. So I played more golf than most members in those 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the club life back then. Like, what was it? What was it like around the club? Some of the characters.
No, look, we had great members. I was young, but all the 50, I just got on so good with them. You know, the John Pikes and Artie Soringer, Ross Maben and Thorpe, Merv Donovan, Dickie Warren, Ashy. We were all big kids. Loved the entertainment, loved the golf course, loved that little happy hour. Sunday was huge drinking. All meet together. Just the personality. Everyone just loved one another. It was great.
And obviously, you're getting quite good at golf. And you would have been selected into representative teams, so the Duncan Cup side, the Otaki Cup side, some of those great interclub sides of that day. I think you guys might have won a fair few during that period.
We only won a couple. I don't know why. We had a great team. You know, Tony Proctor, Charles Lacey, Martin Webber, Paul Devonport, myself, and Ian Daniels, John Hanton, Alan James. Yeah, we had good players, but we just kept on getting pipped every bloody year.
Club championships would have been pretty competitive during that period, I'd suspect.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, everyone loved our club champs. Playing 36 holes. It was just everyone was excited to play, to qualify. Who would be on one side of the draw and you'd go to get to the other side.
Now there's a name that features quite heavily, not too far in front of yourself, and I suspect you probably played against him a number of times. The great John Durry. He was a New Zealand amateur winner, but a great amateur player, but also featured on that honours board a fair bit as well.
Yeah, no, he's a great player. That with Stuart Jones. I remember a story with Bob Charles said he was a guest speaker one night, and Bob got up and he said, I'm going pro. So he went pro, and he said because there's 2 people in New Zealand. That was the great John Durry and the great Stuart Jones. He said, I'm going because I can't beat them as an amateur.
Yeah, right.
So he left, and John Durry and that Stuart Jones, they won I think it was about, I'm only guessing, about 10 times in 12 years they shared the New Zealand amateur between the 2 of them. Yeah. They were great. And I had one time I was at Parapram and I was just sitting out the front, and this gentleman come along, which was Stuart Jones, and he said, would you like a game, son? I said, love a game. So we went out, and then he was just an amazing person to play with. And we got to the 10th, and he kicked on out hitting me. And I said, Jesus, you good? He said, yeah, so are you. He said, you haven't missed a fairway yet. And he said something to me. He said, easier to hit a forward onto the green than a wedge behind a tree. Yeah. So he just said, you just keep on doing what you're doing, son. He said, you hit fairways and don't worry about trying to get in. I kept on saying, I'd love to get that 30, 40 more yards. And he said, don't bother, son. He was, and John Durry was great. He was always nice to me. We just looked for. We were just so nervous playing him as a young kid. He was a star, still a star to all of us.
Do you remember your first club champs in 1977? Who'd you play in that particular final?
Jack Lacey.
Okay, Charles's father.
Yeah, Charles's father. I went out an hour before the the game to do my practice, and old Jack had a Mark IV Zephyr. I think it was light green. Well, anyway, Bill Saw was our umpire, and he goes, well, Lance, congratulations, you just won your first club champ. And I said, why is that? And he said, well, it's 9 o'clock and he hasn't arrived. And I said, I don't want to win by default. And sure enough, 8:05, I don't know if he was just trying to, things they just got, I was watching, get him out of the car park, walked up, he said, hey, Lance, have a good day, shook hands. And he just teed off. And that was it. Way we went. Didn't even go and have a putt, nothing. Didn't say, sorry, I'm late, but I don't know if he was just trying to thing, but I played well and I got him. Not going to say the score.
I was going to say, how deep did the game go?
10-8.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it didn't go very deep at all.
I pulled all stops there. had an amazing day.